Hey guys, welcome back to the Passive Money Podcast. My name is Alex. This is Kirby, and today we're going to be reacting to a video with Grant Cardone in an interview. Check this video out.
So the CEO of Coca-Cola made 50 million bucks last year. A lot of money, right? Okay, that's earned income. Government's going to take half of it. Warren Buffett invested in Coca-Cola. He was paid 508 million.
Come on.
Last year. That's passive income.
As a dividend?
Yes. You know how many people on the internet want to be the boss?
A lot.
Dude, the boss don't make any money. The investor does. Don't be the boss. Don't be the CEO. Be the investor.
Yeah.
Just invest. And what does Warren do? Warren is how I got in real estate. I started buying real estate because I studied with the old man. Well, the old man's only invested in stocks, right? I'm like, I'm not going to do stocks because I don't like them. But what I wanted to learn from Warren Buffett, what was he doing? He did not buy the cheapest company. He didn't buy low and sell high.
What was he doing?
He bought fair value at a fair price. He bought the best quality at a fair price. He wasn't looking for the day a stock went down to $1. He's never done that. He invests in companies that all cash flow, leaders in their space. Coca-Cola, Apple Computer. He didn't buy Apple Computer for years until he understood that Apple Computer was a cash flow company because of iTunes.
All right, so Kirby, what did you think on that as far as what he was discussing? Because I hear a lot where people are always focused on what someone's actually doing at a job. And I get that question a lot, like, hey, what do you do for work? They don't care about, that I'm investing in stocks or I do this with this business or whatever. It's only about what is my actual W-2 job is what they actually care about. And I think this is very important because it shows that even the CEO or the head of Coca-Cola does not make more than the investor or one specific investor, Warren Buffett.
And that's true. And the reason why in your situation where everybody cares about what you do as a job is because that's how we've been trained as Americans. We've been trained that you are what you do. If you're a trash man, then you're a trash man. That's what you do. They don't look at, and I know you've had plenty of situations where you have money coming in from different sources, but only thing people care about is what's your job, what degree you have. And that's what America has trained people to believe, that you are what you can have the ability to have somebody pay you for, not the value that you can create of what the ability you have people to pay you for. And that what describes you. And so I love what Grant Cardone said. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, I don't ever want to come off as saying I'm a property manager. I mean, yeah, the property managers make a paycheck. The property managers that work for me make a paycheck, but they don't make more than me as an investor. And that's the key of it is understanding that how the money dynamic work. The people that work the jobs, the government's going to take your pay, but the people that invest in the jobs, again, paying attention to the tax codes and things like that. And speaking of tax code is about 7,000 pages long. Everybody, let's say 95% of the people in the world pay attention to one page, and that's what tax bracket I fall in to see how much taxes I'm gonna pay. Yeah. One page out of 7,000. But if they ever took the time to pry open that book and read the other 6,099 other pages, 6,999 other pages, they would realize the tax code is telling you, hey, if you do this, then you wouldn't have to pay taxes on that. And like Grant Cardone said in the video, the CEO makes $50 million, but half of it's going to go to the IRS because they're a W-2 employee. And because you're working for somebody, you have to pay all these taxes. But Warren Buffett, as the passive investor, as the person who's bringing in $500 million from dividend income, he's only going to have to pay 15%. Long-term investment, capital gain dividends is only 15%. I mean, now the government switched it around to his tax rate, but if I'm not going to jump into the big hole of Warren Buffett's tax rate, but if you know how much his actual income is, he still falls under the 15% tax rate when it comes to long-term investment and dividend. Right. That's the thing people don't pay attention to. People always think that, oh, you'll make more money if you're working for somebody else. And I know you had conversations with family and things like that when you explain how much money you're making and everybody only want to focus on who do you work for?
Yeah. Right.
So, what's your thoughts on the video?
Well, it's funny too because I mean that was the biggest takeaway I had from that video was like in them talking about it. And I know that they understood they were the two people in the video were on the same page of what the conversation was about, but the biggest
Right.
takeaway for me was that's immediately what people care about is what does someone actually do, you know, as a job rather than who the investor is. Where and it's a great point where it just shows that the actual person that's at the highest rank in that company is making less than the investor. And I mean, I
And
mean,
before you go on, don't lose your point. But the CEO is making less than the investor, but the CEO is doing more work than the investor.
right, right.
Right.
And I mean, as a side note, like I know, just like I've brought you up in conversation to people, and I've mentioned, you know, that I'm learning from you and what you invested. And then I'll mention like, oh, you also work here because you want a social life or whatever. And then their
Right.
focus gets taken away and they're like, oh, well, what's his position at that job? That's a good job. Like, dude, that doesn't like that's not even what it's like what my point is. Like when you can invest for yourself, create your own income, you can choose to work at some place because you want to, not because you have to.
Right.
And
Right.
that's my biggest takeaway with that is you can even your income as an investor is unlimited, whereas your income as a W-2 employee has a cap on it at all times, even if you
Yeah,
hit
it's limited to whatever the job want to pay you.
exactly.
So with all that being said, that that's our reaction review to what was said, and we agree 100% with Grant Cardone is saying. Understand that when you create your own wealth, there's no cap. When you are an employee, there is a cap to the amount of money you can make. And there's a lot of jobs that don't have a cap to the income you make. Sales jobs, I always bring that up because sales jobs is the closest thing to being an investor, a sales job, because you can go sell anything anywhere all the time. And if you feel like you have to have a job, then sales is the only place that I know that has an unlimited cap on what you can make. I mean, of course, besides an investor and things like that, but I'm saying actually working for something, sales is the place that's close to an investor. You can put your time in as a salesperson, you can educate yourself, you can put the time in, invest, time, money, and effort to building PowerPoint slides, building your knowledge on sales to create an infinite amount of income. That's the closest thing to being an investor. When you hear most entrepreneurs, most multi 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 figure uh, of wealth people, they always say, if I had to start over again, it would be in sales. And the reason why, because that's the closest thing to being a investor, closest thing to having an unlimited amount of income that you can create on your own. And that's why they go that route. So just understanding that and understanding that there's a different way to go about things than what you're normally used to of go to school, get a degree, go get a job and think that the world is fixed. So with all that being said, thanks for tuning into the video. We'll see you on the next video. And please like and subscribe when you have a chance. Have a good one.
See you guys.